Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Pink Girly channel. This is Lori, and I am ready to record for you our October installment of hashtag Same Six Wednesday. Got some great items here from Maria Messalini, and as usual, Tanya McGuire of the Tanya McGuire channel on YouTube has gotten us all organized, and we received some goodies from Maria, and we're off to a great start here in October. Well, I guess by the time you see this, it might be closer to the middle of October. But I'm excited to see what I'm going to do with these items. If you've not joined us before, we have 6 artisans who then send each other the same 6 items, and we create a project. I'm working in a scrapbook of my Same Six Wednesday projects, and this season I've decided to do a greeting card inside of my journal. So let me get started here and show you what Maria sent us. She sent us a piece of seam binding, and of course in a lovely orange fall color. We've got a little sprig of fern cut out. Love that. And then this is interesting. This is a piece of decorative chipboard. So I've got an idea for that. And then we have a sheet of what I'm assuming is not carbon paper, but a graphite tracing paper. So I think I'm gonna try to incorporate using this. And then this really great like little note card, right, with fall colors on it. Mushrooms, they're also very popular. So I've got that. And then a piece of map, page of, it's a cool shaped page from a map. I guess I have it upside down. There we go. No, I had it right. Oh, it's got a real nice feel to it. So this is where I'm going to fold my next page. And because of the size of what Maria sent, I'm going to turn my book differently, and I'm folding this in towards the center rather than flipping it over and turning it the other way. And what I'm going to try to do, if I can, is work on my page this way so it can be a landscape. Now let me just move my items over. I think it might be better if I open up my other projects and lay those a little on the flat side. No, maybe I will go the other way because then I can work on it this way. Let me just turn this book. And I'm, instead of doing a portrait orientation, I'm going to do a landscape orientation. And so what I'm thinking I will do, now I have peeked at my items as I have with each of my videos because I'm trying to do better with my timing, so I'm just not holding everyone up. So I think what I'm going to do is, let me see here, I'm going to trim out my little, I think it's a note card. It's just adorable. I'm going to trim that out. So let me get my paper cutter and we'll get crack-a-lacking right away here. Okay, so I'm going to take off where this folds. I'm just going to eyeball that. And then it bends down here as well. And I think I'm going to need to use some Fabri-Tac glue. I didn't do that so well. Let me give another little trim there while I have my cutter here. Try to straighten that up a little bit. Let's see if that's a little better. I'm not sure I'm going to use all those pieces, but let's just see. Okay, so this is going to be a little fiddly because I have the back of the book here leaning up against me so that I can work on it in this way. My space is a little tight here, but I think it'll be okay. So of course I'm going to ink these. I thought this could be the front and center of my card. And I'm thinking I need something underneath there to give me a little bit of a contrast. Now let's see what I might have sitting right here. I like to keep a variety of things next to me so that I can just use them when I need to. And this is just a piece of painty paper I have. And the blue is really kind of different from fall, but I think that might just make the card pop. So let me take a measurement here. Let me see. This little card is not quite all right. It's 5 3/4 by I guess 3 3/8. So this is where I have trouble. This usually takes me a little while. I'm much better at eyeballing things. But I'm going to trim this down. Now this is just a like a robin's egg blue paint, and then I spattered it. So if I zhuzh this over, I think I'm going to take a little bit off of, don't get away from me there. I'm going to take a little bit off of this end. Now I don't want to completely cover the size of my card front because I want some of that showing too, but I also want to avoid some of this unpainted area down here. So I'm going to just eyeball that. And then I'm going to trim a little bit off of here. I'm going to have a little bit of that showing, but that's going to be okay, I think. I have that a little crooked. Let me see. That's not too bad. All right, let's get rid of these little scraps. This bigger piece I'm going to put back in my little stash. And set that trimmer off to the side. Put my ruler back. I don't want my area to be too messy for you while you're watching. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink these edges. Now, sometimes you might like to have a card to give to someone, and you're going to make them a little gift, to give them a gift card to go along with, say for a birthday or holiday. I'm just wondering if I could take a Q-tip and come in here and do a little bit of, if I tap that on my ink pad, do a little bit of shadowing underneath some of these mushrooms. Try to give them a little, try to get that color to pop. You know what I think might be better? Let's see if I can pull out very quickly my oxides. I'm pretty sure I have an oxide color that might work. Let's see, I'm hung up here on my, got my drawer stuffed full of goodies. And something's not, no, there it is. It's my mouse pad. All right, let's see here. I've got hickory, gathered twig. Let's see what the gathered twig might look like. All right, I'm going to grab another Q-tip just so I don't combine the two products. I don't want it to look muddy. So this is Tim Holtz Ranger Products Distress Oxide. And I think this will move a little better for me. And I'm just going to scoot a little shadow underneath a couple of these images here. See if we can get them to pop a little bit. And I'm sure you could use a sponge. I just had these little Q-tips sitting here handy. I'm not quite sure this is doing what I really wanted it to do. But it is giving a little more color. I don't know if you're able to see that. And then I'm going to continue with my inking up towards the top. Now what I'm thinking is this can go here, this can go on top. Now what if I put a little slit here, and then we could slide this guy in, and there could be a little greeting here on the front. So what I need is my X-Acto knife. Let me close my book for just a moment. And let's take this ruler. And I'm going to give myself a little pencil line and hope for the best. See if I did that right. Doesn't look too bad. Might be a little crooked. All right, so let me get a cutting board. Just scoot my cutting board in here. I think this will help me. Yeah, this is a little crooked. It's a little crooked. So let's redo. Come back in here with this ruler. And I'm going to make, if I go on, if I put my card here and kind of use the lines on the cutting board, I think that'll help me stay straight. And you may not be as finicky as me, and I think that's a good thing. I think I'm a little too finicky at times. All right, so I'm going to take my little X-Acto knife, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to make a slice. And hopefully I cut through that. I did it, I did it. Let me see if I want to take another little slice. So what I'm doing is making a little pocket. Yeah, see, and I can just pop that out. That's good. That'll be good enough, right? Erase my little pencil line. Now I put my pencil on a little darker, hoping you can see it. But if you do something like this, you don't need to, make that pencil line as dark. So now I'm thinking I have this other little piece of card that can slip in like this. Now, of course, it's got to be able to slip all the way in. I'm going to have to glue So I'm going to need to trim this up a little bit. So back with the paper trimmer. I'm going to take a little more off here. Get rid of that fold line, and I'm going to trim this down just a tad. And a little bit here. We've got that cute little snail, which is also on the front. Now, you really could fold this in half and tuck it in that way, put a little sentiment or a little personal message. And I'm going to ink these edges. And of course, this is a card in my journal book, so it doesn't have to fit in an envelope. But if you did a little pocket like this, you'd want that to be able to fit into your envelope, so you want to be aware of that. Of course, I can offset that way. Now, somewhere here I have a little marker, a Sharpie pen that I popped in one of my tubs, and I want to say hello. You know, sometimes I clean up so well I can't then find anything. So let's just see. All right, well, maybe it'll show up. I know I have a couple of them. Let's see, is this it? No, but this might work. This is just a Sharpie marker. And I'm just going to say hello. Right on this little card. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to put my X-Acto knife up and gather my pieces. Open my book and put my cutting board down. And get to the right page here. Now I might offset this a little bit. If I go this way and come this way. Now I think I'm going to use a piece of the binding tape over here. So let me trim a piece of this off, and I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac, which just sticks down anything fabric a little better than maybe something else. And I have apparently glued my lid shut. Go hit that with my heat gun. That should loosen that up. This even works for your paint jars if you can't get your paint lid open. If you heat that up a little bit. Now you got to be careful though when you go to grab the, I think the other part is my thumb ring. I can't grab the lid very well. Oh goodness, I can't get this open. Well, up, here we go. Here we go. So I'm just going to put a little stream of this down the side. Yeah, like I was saying, if your paint, little paint bottles, you know, from Americana or Folk Art, if they're a little dried up and they've been sitting for a while, or sometimes, you know, the paint comes out a little messy. If you heat that up, that comes uncapped pretty easy for you. Now, see, I can trim this. See if I can get it now. Just going to trim this little edge. Get rid of that little extra piece of seam binding. And then I'm going to scoot this over this way. And this is going to come this way. Now, I'm going to use my tape gun. to put down my blue painty paper. And again, I'm going to just cover my surface here so I don't get extra glue where I don't want it. And there's a little Cricut, Laura. Now, the rule of thumb that I've always been taught or heard is when you're doing any kind of scrapbooking, card making, anything with paper, any of your journals, if you use your dry tape or your tape gun, that never really dries, so you don't want to have to build a pocket and use this tape, because if you slide something in, it can hug up on some of that glue. But see, I'm going to be sliding not under this, on top of this. So then for this piece that I'm putting down, that's going to make my little pocket, if you will, I'm going to use regular white glue, Mod Podge. And I'll grab my little glue bottle. And I have this little needle nose applicator, which I can really control. Now I want to leave this end. I don't need this end to open because I'm going to slide it in the pocket. And because I made that little slit, you can see where it needs to go. So this I can glue all the way down. All right, and then I'm going to offset it here a little bit. So here we go. See if it works. Now the other thing to remember is this side can be glued down, but I want this to be open because that's where I'm going to slide my little extra card. So I'm going to just eyeball that. Give it a good press, and it'll take a few seconds, I think, for that to make a nice stick. You can always burnish it down too. But when you use the Mod Podge, or if you use the, I could have used the, this is like a Fabri-Tac. It's the same company. Mine's called Magnatac. It sticks down a little quicker. So then we have our little card here that says hello. Let's see, I missed my corner here, so I'm going to add a little more glue here. Boop, boop. So right off the bat, if someone would open this card and take it out of the envelope, we've got a cute little mushroom. And I think that looks cute that it says stamp there. I might need a little more glue there. And then they can pull this out and it says, hello. Now, like I said, you could write a little personal note there. And now for the inside. So let's see what else Maria has given us here that I can use. I don't think I'm going to use the piece of map. I do have that extra bit. I have more of the seam binding. I think I might want to use this chipboard. Is that what they call it? Chipboard? Yeah, a little decorative chipboard. And see, these pop out like little puzzle pieces. How pretty are they? Oh, these have little hearts on them. Let's see if I can. That one guy's giving me a little bit of. He doesn't want to come undone. I don't want to break him. Come on, fella. Won't release in that one little spot. Isn't that the way when you do your die cuts? Oh, there we go. How cute is that, right? So let me get these out. These are a little fiddly. Let me use oh, I don't want to forget my fern. I love that little fern. Let me see if I can add a little pressure here in certain spots. It might make that pop out. There, that's better. I have a pokey tool. Get out my pokey. All this takes time. So I'm thinking I could use this as a stencil and then add these other little bits to do like a 3D kind of a thing. But let me see if I can get this next one out easier. They're just detached at certain little spots. Note to self, do this well, I think you'll still be able to see, but that little part is still a little cute as a stencil. Okay, so I've got these 3 little parts. I don't think I'm going to mess with the branches so much. Let me get this other little part out here. There we go. All right, now I'm going to leave these other little bits in my book. Close my book for a second and work on this surface here. I'm going to take a little sip here, guys. And I have some nice full colors in the oxides. And I think a little purple might be nice. Just to give that a little pop. And I know I've got some marmalade or spiced pumpkin, carved pumpkin. There's carved pumpkin. And maybe we need a little bit of a green. Let's see here what I can grab out here. It always is the color you'd like. I could have a sage. There's a forest, but I think that might be a little too dark. It seems that the color you always want to use is always on the bottom. There's another orange. I've got yellow, lemon, squeezed lemon, I think, or lemonade. The names are so cute. Goodness me. Well, I think we're going to live without the sage. But that's all right. Oh, there it is. All right. Now I just want to try this out. See how this will work for me. So I'm thinking about using this as a stencil. I've got a little sponge. I have these little brushes too. Maybe that'd be better. Like a little makeup brush. I think if I rub down in there, that'll be good. Okay, so I think that's going to work. So what I want to do first is take my little bits and put some color on them. Because I want to be able to use those in my card. Maybe I need a darker green. That's not showing up too well. Just going to put a little color at the bottom. Look, see there, I forgot. Didn't pull out that one little piece. To get that before I glue it down. Now, normally I would clean that off and then use that again, but for time's sake, I've got these other little guys here. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of the carved pumpkin. Now, I've seen these little chipboard pieces in maybe like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I'm just kind of eyeballing that. And then I do like some purple in with my fall colors, my leaves. So I'm just going to dust a little bit of that on them. So see, now these might be a little fiddly to glue them down. I do have, oh, there it is. Maybe I can use that. That might be. I have, like you can make a sticker. I forget what it's called. It starts with an X. I'll show you. I know you'll know what it's called. All right, so I've got those little pieces. So I'm going to put them off to the side. And they're ready to go. Now I'm going to open my page back up. And I'm going to use this as a stencil. So I've got these little trees. And I'm going to go back in with a forest green. I think I like this tree best. I'm just going to put a couple. It's very subtle, which is fine. Very, very, very subtle. So I'm kind of making a little woodland foliage backdrop here. Let's get a couple of these other guys. Kind of just framing this area where I might want to put a little greeting or sentiment. You could certainly do this with your regular stamping inks as well. Just give us a little more of a background rather than just the coffee dyed area. So I'll just have that coming around that left-hand corner. I think I'm okay with that. And I'm going to put my fern over here. And I think I have some tape left in here. Now this one's by Teresa Collins, but I think the brand name is, there we go, Xyron. See, I never remember that. Look, I've got this all spattered. And all you do is you drop your little image down in that little slot and pull the tape. Now you want to make sure it's the right side up. I'm going to put it the bottom of the tree down first. And this will put adhesive on the back of my little. Now you could use your glue, of course. You don't have one of these little gadgets, and that's just fine. It's just a little fiddly because they're open and they're small. But I just happened to see this sitting up here on the shelf. Now, if you use something like this, you want to burnish it down. So I'm going to grab my bone folder. give it a good rub. Rub it on the back side as well. All right, so I've got some of our components. And then what I'm thinking is I can flip this over and use the back side of this. Now, I haven't really thought about a sentiment. So we've got mushrooms on the front. We say hello. And let's see, what do I have here? I do like my friendship stamp. I know we used that before. Well, they say love is in the air. Let's just use love. Love. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to use my black. And I want to get that on my card. So I just want to get the script part. I'll stamp that down. I should have stamped off first, which I didn't, but we're going to make it work. But I don't want to keep you here forever. So I'm just going to give myself some torn edges, which I personally really like. So we can add that into the mix. Now I wanted to use the graphite paper that Maria sent us, which is here. And I pulled out a few stencils. And I'm just thinking, how can I use stencil? What stencil might I have that would work? I wish I had a nice, oh, that little one would work. I wish I had a nice mushroom. I've got mushroom stamps, but not a stencil, and I really want to use, so let me put these up. And this is, gosh, I don't know. These are these heavy duty. I know a lot of you have these. I forget the name of this stencil. I probably got this on a Goodwill stash. I'm just going to take a little piece of my graphite. And I'm going to take a stylus. You could use a pen that is no longer have any ink. Or you can use the end of a paintbrush, which it looks like I might have to do because I put all my... You don't want to tear your paper, so you need something that's on the dull side. Oh, here it is. I have this little guy that's perfect, I think. See, it's just a little stylus. And I'm going to put some flowers. Now, of course, I could use this as a stencil and just stamp some ink in there or paint. But I wanted to use this paper that Maria sent us to do a tracing. So I'm going to put this down. Now here's a bigger flower. Let's use a bigger one. And I'm just using that stencil as a guide to make some little flowers. Let's see, I want to do another small one, so let's put it here. Now, the thing with the graphite paper is that you can work on top of it. If you have carbon paper, like olden days, if you worked in olden days, like when I was a secretary, that blue carbon paper, you couldn't really work on top of it. I mean, it was good for the purpose it was meant for, but you couldn't do art or anything on top of it. It would just make a mess for you. So let's put another, and I'm not too concerned if they overlap. They look cute. All right, so that's another one of our items that we've used. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this orange, get my little tool that I use, the orange, my little brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of oxide in the center of my flowers, my big ones. I'm going to do the orange. And then on the little ones, I'm going to use a little bit of this preserved, seedless preserves, which is a grapey, purpley lavender color. I'm going to just pop a little bit of color in there. Oh, I think that looks darling. And I'm going to put this here. Now I want to ink the edges of my stamped piece. Now don't forget, we use the back of that card. So let's see here. I'm a little longer in time than I had wanted for this video. So let me just wrap up while I'm finishing and putting this together. So Maria sent us a map page, which I did not use. She sent us this fern, which I'm going to attach here. So this is item 1. Stick this guy down. Then we popped out our chipboard little items, and I used the stencil as a stencil, item 2, the graphite paper, item 3. Now this is the stickers I made. I'm only required to use 3 of the 6, so I'm in good shape that way. Now I'm going to peel these off, and I'm going to pop them down. Oh boy, they look so cute. How about it, huh? How cute is that? All right, so I want to really press those. I'm going to use the back of my stamp. Press those down. And then we have our little love sentiment, which really didn't come out that great because I broke one of my own rules. I didn't stamp it off first. And let's see, where did I put that marker? See, I have so many tubs of goodies. I forget where I put what when I'm concentrating on my project. I know I've got some, got a few Poscas here. I'm just going to take the time to grab it out here. Oh, this is better. I think the Sharpie marker, I think, will work. Because this paper doesn't look like it's going to bleed. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to trace what I stamped here. So we can see it better. So I'm just going to do love. And you certainly can freehand your own message. And I'm going to pop that right over top of my flowers, I think. Maybe I'll put it, well, maybe I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I want to see a little more of my flowers. So let me come in here and just give that little more of a tear. And re-ink my edges. So again, this is October 2021's installment of Same 6 Wednesday. Finishing this up. Don't forget to check all the links below and tour around and see what the other gals do with these same items. Thank you again, Maria. Thank you, Tanya. This is so fun, and I love how my chipboard trees turned out. I'm going to pop this up for you so you just get a little better look. So this is the card I created in my journal. And I did it landscape rather than portrait. And in here we have a little hello. We created a pocket. And then when we flip it open, we've got a beautiful little October garden with some flowers and then a little sentiment of love. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next month. Take care. Happy creating. Bye-bye.